I'm often asked, why is it so bad if a species goes extinct? And I think on the surface, of course, when the last animal is gone, we know that extinction is forever and that species is not coming back. But I think that deeper than that, when we lose that last animal, we lose with that all of the knowledge that that animal has to share. All of the knowledge about their anatomy and their physiology, about how they interact with their environment and their ecosystem, even about ourselves and about how we can learn about our own health based on the same stressors that they exhibit, because we're all living in the same ecosystem and the same planet. And so I think that's what we truly mourn when we mourn extinction. And I think that most of us have forgotten how to listen. For millennia, we relied on what animals had to share to tell us where it was safe to live, where we could find food, where there were threats from predators. And we're often so focused on where our technological and medical innovations take us that we often forget that when we listen to what the natural world has to share, that is where the keys truly lie to answering the questions that loom so large. I understand that it can sometimes be difficult to make a connection when so far removed from a species. You know, Hawaiian monk seals are only found in Hawaii. We're about 6,000 miles away. And I work with a lot of school kids and worked with some kids in the Midwest who have never seen the ocean. And so how do you inspire people to love something that they may have never seen and may have never been exposed to? And I think that thinking about the way that our impacts and our choices trickle down is really key to seeing the entire picture and seeing the connections that we have. You know, we're sitting here in Columbus, and we're in the Mississippi River Basin, the watershed. And so the choices that we make here upstream continue to trickle down into the Mississippi River, down into the Gulf of Mexico. Thinking, you may not have thought about the impacts that it might have had on the resident bottlenose dolphin population there that live right at the mouth of where the river meets the Gulf. This particular population has been severely impacted and is continuing to be impacted by the effects of the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And in addition, having health effects that are being shown anytime there are decisions that are being made about ways that the waterways are being changed, just ways that upstream is continuing to affect downstream populations. And so when we think of the way that water flows, I think that is the same thing with knowledge, that everything trickles down and has a very large impact. It can be hard to feel a connection to an animal that's 6,000 miles away. For RH38, we had to gather all of the knowledge that we had, and we had to stand on the shoulders of all of the clinicians that had come before, that had made discoveries about marine mammals, about other species, thinking about how we could use that to our advantage to help this individual and help the population. And so I'd really like to thank you all for all of the innovations and all of the knowledge that you're sharing here, because it truly does expand out and it truly does trickle down. When we have, whether you're going back to a laboratory where you're discovering new innovations with lab animals, whether you are going back to advocate for legislation that helps to improve animal welfare or the way that we're able to treat animals, whether you are a practitioner who goes back, who inspires a client to better listen to their animal, to improve that human-animal bond. All of those things are critical for igniting this knowledge transfer that really and truly does have an impact 6,000 miles away for an endangered species that is running out of time. And so thank you all for all of the wonderful work that you're doing, because it is truly making a vast impact.